I am the Lonely Necron, and welcome to my basement. So today, an Orc Patrol and an Eldar Patrol meet each other in a city area kind of thing. They're going to fight it out, and we're going to see who wins out of that. When I buy furniture off Etsy, I normally buy it by the room. I bought an Alchemist room set one time, and it came with this Alchemist. I don't really use them much, but the room set's kind of nice. So this is what we have for today's Orc Patrol. We have a War Boss in Mega Armor, two groups of 10 boys, one with a rocket launcher and one with a big shooter, a weird boy who knows Fist of Gork and Smite, 10 Grots, a Death Killer Wartrike, 3 Death Copters, a Mech Gun with a Bubble Chucker, and a Death Dread with 2 Scorches and 2 Dread Claws. I think that's 46 power level. Could be 48. I don't know. But we got that for orcs. So this is our Eldar Patrol. We have a Farseer who knows Executioner and Fortune and Smite. 2 Warlocks. One knows Enhance, one knows Protect. A group of 5 Wraithblades. 10 Guardian Defenders with a heavy support platform thingy. 2 groups of 5 Dire Avengers. 2 groups of 3 Wind Riders with Shuriken Cannons. And then a Wraith Lord with an Eldari Missile Launcher, a Bright Lance, and a Ghost Glaive. So yeah, we got these Eldar taking on these orcs. They're going to do it in this weird kind of convoluted city kind of thing with the ever-present fountain involved. I gotta say, this is probably my favorite non-playable miniature kind of thing. I just love the fountain. I'm gonna roll deployment, set that up, and we'll start the happiness. So the orcs won the deployment rollout thing, and they chose to deploy very messily in this corner over here. Got a group of boys here, Death Dread, the Megabot. Yeah, I say that all the time. The War Boss in Mega Armor, the Weird Boy, the Grots are in the corner, the Death Killer Wartrike in the alleyway here with the Mech Gun. Depth Copters are just kind of crowding around here on the edge. The other group of boys is kind of up here in this building. So the Eldar got this corner then. So we've got our Farseer up there on the second floor, the Wraith Lord, the Wraith Guard, and a Warlock with Enhance following behind them. No, he has Protect. That one has Protect. This Warlock has Enhance. And then we've got all the Wind Riders, Guardian Defenders, and the Dire Avengers up here in this building. Alright, I'll do a quick roll here for stealing. Oh, look at that. Somehow the Eldar actually managed to steal. Alright, so round 1 Eldar movement. So after stealing the first turn, the Guardian Defense guys have just kind of moved around to this corner. The Dire Avengers are just staying put for the moment. Both groups of Wind Riders advanced out of the back area here. The Wraith Lord just moved up. The Wraith Blades, Farseer, and Warlock all advanced up to here. Nobody's in range for a Psychic phase, so shooting phase. The Wraith Lord is the only one in range. He's going to shoot at the Gretchen. So the Wraith Lord was able to kill one of the Grots with his Bright Lance, but failed to wound with his Eldari Missile Launcher. Too far away to charge, so that makes it the Orc's turn. Orc movement. So pretty much all the Orcs that were in this corner have kind of just exploded out this alleyway here. These boys are going to hang out here for the moment, and the Mech Gun is going to hang out here, but everything else advanced forward. The Death Dread advanced forward. The War Boss came down off his little thingy. The Grots advanced forward. Alright, the Death Copters did not advance forward, they just moved. The Death Kill Wartrike over here also just moved. The boys that were over here have advanced over to this street corner thing. I guess it's street entryway. Way over there in the corner, the weird boy has just advanced off the top of the building. None of these guys are really in range for a psychic phase. There's at least one person in range for shooting. So I'll do some measurements for the Death Copters. So the Bubble Chukka mech gun was kind of sort of in range and could slightly see on the edge the Wraith Lord over there, and even with a cover save, it took 5 points of damage. This front Death Copter could also see the Wraith Lord, but he failed to wound. No charges from the orcs, so that'll take us on over to the Eldar turn. Round 2, Eldar movement. So the Wraith Blades have advanced over here. The Wind Riders just moved up to start challenging on to these orcs. The other group of Wind Riders has come down the street here. This set of Dire Avengers advanced down off the building behind them. The other set of Dire Avengers advanced down to the edge of the building. Farseer moved up. And these guys are just going to hang out here for another turn. Not need for a shooting phase, right? Or not. There's always a need for a shooting phase, but there's not a need for a psychic phase. This turn, there will in fact be lots of shooting. So let's get into the shooting phase. So these Wind Riders killed 5 of these boys. The Wraith Lord killed one of the Gretchen with his Eldari missile launcher. And then between him and the Wind Riders, they managed to kill off one of the Death Copters and do 3 damage to another one. The Wind Riders are totally in range to charge, but they are not going to. On the morale test, the boys over here, these guys, they lost 5 guys, but they did not run away. Yay, orcs. That'll make it the orc turn, so orc movement. So the mech gun, it'll probably never move the entire game. These boys right here came out from this building. They're starting to slowly make their way forward. The Death Dread moves forward. The Weird Boy, the War Boss have all moved up. The Grots have gotten closer. The Death Copters have definitely gotten closer over here. These boys moved up to get a lot closer, hopefully into charging range. Pretty sure they're there. And the Death Killer Wartrike here in the street is just going to hang out and shoot stuff. We are close enough for a psychic phase. The Weird Boy is probably just going to try and cast some Smite. Do the psychic phase then. I feel sometimes that this roll was kind of like my recent orc experience. He did manifest Smite, but he rolled the lowest number possible, and then he rolled a 1 for damage. So, sad face. That does take us over to the orc shooting phase, and there is just an absolute crap ton of that. I'll get to rolling. The Death Killer Wartrike shot at these Wind Riders and didn't do anything. These boys did a point of damage to the Wind Riders, though. Everything over here that was in range of the Wind Riders and could shoot at the Wind Riders, which was the Bubble Chukka, the War Boss, the Gretchen, and the Death Copters. All of them shot at the Wind Riders, and it took the combined might of all of them to kill off all 3 of the Wind Riders, but all 3 of the Wind Riders on this side are dead. Go orcs. So we're going to do some orc charging. which is strictly on this side of the street at the moment. These boys are going to charge into the Wind Riders, and this Wartrike is going to charge into the Wind Riders. So the boys lost a guy in the Overwatch experience, but both they and the Deathkiller Wartrike made it in, and then they just completely brutally murdered all of the Eldar. So no more Wind Riders on this side. That'll take us over to the Eldar turn. Movement. Well, the Wind Riders have been my like first wave of attackers or whatever, and they just got brutally murdered, so it's time for the rest of the grouping here to step up. And so the Wraith Lord and the Farseer have gotten really close here. Wraith Blades and the Warlock behind them, who has Protect coming up. The Guardian Defenders finally left their area and are starting to move up as well. And then the Dire Avengers have also just advanced up to here. We are going to do some psychic stuff. Yay, psychic phase. I feel that was a successful psychic phase. So that Warlock cast Protect on the Wraith Blades here, giving them a +1 to their save. Farseer cast Executioner on the Grots, killing 6 of them. And then he cast Fortune on the Wraith Lord, giving it a 5-up ignore all wounds kind of thing. And this Warlock over here can't really see anybody else, so can't really see anybody else to do anything, so yay. And I was super lucky because the Weird Boy was 3 inches out of range for denying, so yay. So with all of that complicated crap out of the way, then we'll go into the Eldar shooting phase. So both squads of Dire Avengers and the support platform from the Guardian Defenders down there managed to kill off 3 of these boys here, leaving just the knob. The Farseer, seen through that window there in the left, shot his shuriken pistol and actually killed off one of the Deathcopters. And then the Wraith Lord, with his Eldari missile launcher and Bright Lance, did 6 damage to the Death Dread. So we're going to do some charges here, which will be the Wraith Lord and these Wraith Guard into the Deathcopter, and the front group of Dire Avengers into the Knob and the Deathkiller Wartrike. Everybody made their charges, nobody suffered any damage in Overwatch. These guys absolutely killed the last Deathcopter. The Dire Avenger Exarch, I think, killed the Knob, and then the other 4 attacked the Wartrike but didn't do anything. The Wartrike turned around and killed off one of the Dire Avengers. So that was fun. I don't really think there's any morale owed this time, so that'll make it the Orc turn for movement. The Deathkiller Wartrike is going to stay in combat with these Dire Avengers to squash some squishy Eldar. Mech Gun never moves. The last squad of boys has advanced out of the alleyway here. The Death Dread, Weird Boy, and Warboss have all also moved up towards this grouping of wraith-like things. Alright, so the Weird Boy is definitely going to try and do some psychic stuff here, so the Weird Boy successfully cast Smite. The Farseer was unable to deny it, so 2 points of damage done to the Wraith Lord. Orc shooting phase. All of the orc shooting was centered on the Wraith Lord, but the only one that did any damage was the Death Dread, and it did a point of damage with its twin Scorches. So charge phase. The Death Dread definitely going to go into the Wraith Lord. The Warboss is definitely going to go into the Wraith Blades. And the Deathkiller Wartrike is still in combat. Everybody made their charges, nobody suffered any Overwatch. The Wraith Lord. The Death Dread killed the Wraith Lord, and the War Boss did a point of damage to one of the Wraith Blades. The Wraith Blades, one of them killed the Death Dread, and the other ones did some damage to the War Boss. So over here on this side, the Wartrike killed 3 of the Dire Avengers and suffered no damage in return. This Dire Avenger does not run away in morale, and that'll take us to the Eldar turn movement. The Wraithblades are just going to stay in combat with the War Boss, but the Farseer and Warlock have moved up over here. The Dire Avenger that was in combat has fallen back into this little, I don't know what it would be, like a dumpster area maybe, alleyway area thing. And then the Dire Avengers and Guardian Defenders and the other Warlock have all advanced out into the street to seek revenge. We're definitely going to have a decent psychic phase, so let's get to the psychicking. So the Warlock on the right there cast Smite on the War Boss. The Weird Boy tried to deny it and it failed, and it killed the War Boss. The Farseer cast Executioner on the boys, killing 3 of them, and then smiting the Weird Boy for 3. And then this Warlock smote the Wartrike for 3 points of damage. So we'll do some Eldar shooting. So the Warlock and the Farseer each killed 1 Grot with their shuriken pistols. All of these guys shot at the Wartrike. Not a single one of them actually hit. Sad day. Alright, so these Wraithblades are going to charge into these boys. The Wraithblades made their distance by a lot. Took no damage in Overwatch, and then just cut the crap out of the orcs. None left alive. Yeah, that'll take us to the orc turn for movement. Okay, so there's only 3 orc units left, and they have all opted not to move. I guess the Weird Boy is going to try and smite these Wraithblades. The Weird Boy did successfully smite. The Farseer tried to deny and failed. So he did successfully smite the Wraithblades for 2 damage, killing 1 and putting another one down to 2. Orc shooting phase. So the mech gun failed to wound on the Wraithblades. But the Death Killer Wartrike killed 2 of these Dire Avengers. Charging phase. I guess the Wartrike's going to charge into that group of Dire Avengers that he attacked. So the Wartrike into those 3. So the Wartrike definitely made it in, didn't suffer any Overwatch, and then just killed off the remaining Dire Avengers. That'll make it the Eldar turn. So movement. So the Guardian Defenders with their Warlock have moved way up here to go against this Wartrike, and the remaining Dire Avenger Exarch has come out of the little alleyway there to maybe shoot this guy from behind. The Warlock and the Farseer have moved up as far as they can, looking at this Weird Boy, and the Wraithblades have just moved up towards this mech gun. I do still have 3 Eldar Psychers, so Psychic phase. The Warlock, the one on the left, cast Smite on the Weird Boy, who failed to deny it. The Farseer, the Eldar on the right, tried to cast Fortune on these guys and failed, but his Smite went off and he killed the Weird Boy. And the Warlock over here with the Guardian Defenders did 3 points of damage in his Smite on the Death Killer Wartrike. So, Eldar shooting phase. So with the combined efforts of the Dire Avenger Exarch, the Warlock, And everybody in the Guardian Defender squad, they managed to kill off the Death Kill at Wartrike. So, charging phase. It's going to be these Wraith Blades into this last remaining Orc unit, the Mech Gun. So these guys made their charge, suffered no overwatch, and definitely killed the Mech Gun. So ultimately that makes the Eldar the winner. Not a whole lot of survivors, but they did win. No lie, I didn't want to make a prediction at the beginning of the game because this is the first time that Orcs and Eldar have met on my channel. But Eldar won, so I guess we're going to chalk that up to awesome psychic powers because that definitely helped a lot. If you made it to the end of the video, I do appreciate you watching. I'm always happy to have more people watching, I guess. Yeah, I should have a Crusade game coming out after this one. And I don't know what's coming after that. Could be anything. You all have a good morning. It's morning here, so have a good morning there.